What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 9 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Fay Enchantress Old World Classic campaign. So as we saw last time, with the completion of the Tier 4 and the armory, we have started to begin pumping out units. So we've also got plenty of battles under our belt last episode. A few were minor annoyances, like the beastmen spawning near the Fay Enchantress, and this little stack, last little stack I should say, and belonging to the orcs that were occupying previously Jen here. Still haven't decided how we're going to manage to swap these territories out, but hopefully we can manage to do so. Perhaps with the territories in the Massive Orcal being of the yellow variety, what we could do is try to get this territory, Laguier, swapped out with, for example, Chinon, and then trade these to the Wood Elves for that. Something like that. Though I had originally figured that we could make a base of Brigands in the Massive Orcal. The same thing could be done in the Aranas or in anywhere here in the Vaults. We'll see. We'll see. There's certainly potential. I would, again, prefer not to keep these guys having too much territory within Bretonnia proper. Also, I think I made a little bit of a mistake in drawing the Wood Elves into the fight, because you can see the 8 million arrows here. Well, that's because when we were attacked by a Silostra, we drew all the Wood Elves in, and now they're all going to head over there in a big ol' stampede. The main issue is they're going to have to cross a lot of territory to do it, including other Bretonnian territory, Sigmarite territory, etc. And I don't like that, because there's a decent likelihood that they will be causing some trespassing. Hopefully they don't start fighting amongst themselves. Actually, while we're there, let's see what we got in terms of... Ice Court. Let's not aggress with you. We'll want the trading agreement eventually. Strength rank 2, well done. Catherine's doing pretty good. Tobaro, we're ignoring you for now. I think we're now safe to start doing the defensive alliances with at least the other Bretonnian factions that aren't down here. So Caravans is probably reasonably safe. There is the potential, of course, of them attacking or getting attacked by the Broken Axe, but at the same time, Broken Axe is at this point a faction that is still a threat, let's say, but isn't quite as much of a threat as it once was, because now we can pump out the armies needed to sort of deal with them. Brienne, you are down here, so we're waiting on you. And Montfort, you only have one territory. You're at war with Broken Axe and the Cabal. Are the Cabal still alive?
Fate denies me.
They have one settlement in here. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna ignore the rest of these guys, I think. Alrighty. Let's see what else we've got to do this particular turn. We do have a little bit of cash to spend, but we are saving like 14k for the upgrade of our first Tier 5 settlement. Inez and Verna are fine. Fleur of the Braid is fine, and in fact, it looks like we're more or less ready to end the turn. Let's double check if there's anything we can build that isn't super expensive, but there is a bunch of stuff that needs to be built next turn that will be expensive. We're ignoring Great Mills because it's a red territory, and I believe that's it for now. And we are not collecting money out of either of these three. But Bretonnia's economy still remains absolutely insane compared to a lot of other factions, so we're still doing pretty darn good for turn 36. Anyway, Lord Not Moved, unsigned skill points, building upgrade available, outpost available. It's probably with, yeah, it's one of the Bretonnian factions. Again, we did all the outposts with the Wood Elves. Yes, yes, yes. No little exclamation icon. There is, of course, these guys to consider. I am tempted to build it, but here's the thing. Do they... I mean, they have something of a garrison at Martel, at least it's walled. Sigmarsheim has a problem being right beside Artois, and even though there's an army there, I do kind of expect the beastmen to kind of annihilate them. Maybe they can defend Martel? Maybe. Alright, let's put this outpost in Martel. Yeah. And then we'll wait for other Imperial allies, because we will certainly want to combine some of their units. I'm really praying that we get that Ogre Mercenary Camp, I think it's called, the special location, the unique location, rather, because it does give us a massive boost to our friendliness with Ogres, and I really want some Ogre Mercenaries in a few armies. We just have to find some Ogres that... Well, we just have to find some Ogres that aren't Golgi. He is not super fond of us for being allied with everybody. So yeah. And you'd think he'd work with everybody. Plus, I'm pretty sure you can't get an outpost or anything with Goldie anyway, so it doesn't really matter. He still remains a completely useless faction on the map. I feel like the AI should have him as a standard faction, whereas the player can play him as a unique experience. But anyway, let's end the turn for now. I'm hoping I haven't forgotten anything, but if I have, it's too late now. Alrighty, also, the turn is ending. Once again, we have been maintaining the engagement threshold, and if we continue maintaining the streak, we will do another double episode, probably on Wednesday, depending on which day I end up having more time on. And the engagement threshold, I think at this point we'll do 350 likes and still 60 comments, though. Alrighty, so do keep that in mind if you've been enjoying the content. Anyway, let's see if anybody attacks. I do believe the Barrow Legion are heading southward down towards us, at the very least of the armies that we could see. There may very well be other armies heading towards us, and I just saw the Wood Elves destroy... poor Lewin, getting wrecked. I just saw the Wood Elves destroy one of the armies of the Broken Nose, or whatever that faction was called. It is probably thusly a good opportunity to attack them shortly. Definitely gonna have to see about that. What else do we have here? Ostland, Karlberg, Sigmarsheim. There's an ally. We want more Imperial allies, though. Though ideally ones that will survive. And of course there's Dwarven allies, but the problem is that all the Dwarves nearby us hate us because of their vision of the Wood Elves, and that's going to be a problem. We're allied with so many Wood Elves, I am somewhat wary of ever allying with the Dwarves, as in it might not be possible. We're just gonna have to wait and see. And by the looks of it, no further attacks or anything. Alright, Confederation, Telebeckland, and Reichland succeeds. Ambusher discovered. Not relevant to us, and ooh, I don't like that. Alright, Silostra is moving towards more of the Sigmarites territory, an unusual location in Parage. Come on, Ogre Camp. Ogre Camp, do this for me. No, it's the frickin' Carnival of Nurgle. And obviously we are burning this down. 4,000 gold! You have got to be kidding me. Damn you. Damn you. Alright, we're just gonna have to do it, aren't we? It's the right thing to do. Alright, fine. Alrighty. Next, the important thing is this. Castle Carcassonne will now be upgraded. Still 10,000 gold, but worth it. And then we can switch back to extensive patrols for the additional local recruitment capacity. Then, we will pick a new technology, and we want to go towards... what was it that we wanted to go towards? I think it was Harbor Master bribes for the maximum number of caravans increased. There is also Charity up here, which is really nice for the additional control. I do like the local recruitment capacity increase as well. And there's some definite good stuff up here. Just double checking if there's anything super critical. Yeah, I'd say Charity rather for the bonus control, and Harbor Master bribes are the important ones. Let's start with improved trade vessels right now. And then we will probably swap to... Oh, and I'm just taking a look at Never-Ending Duty. There is one turn left of the Green Knight on field. And oh, don't tell me you guys are just out of range. Huh? Wait. Are you telling me this isn't channeling stance? Oh, we are in range in channeling stance, but if I look at crusading stance, does it actually lower the movement range? It could be bugged, like sometimes it lies. But see, when we do this, it increases. You know what? I'm not going to risk it. I think we're going to directly attack. I guess then the question is only which army it is we want to strike at. And of these two, this one has the better units. And thusly, I think we will try to knock this army out before the other one. Though, ooh, I'm also a little bit wary of getting in the way of the Fay Enchantress. Let's hope that by moving here, we can still move to where we need to go. Maybe like this better. Let's go like this with Renee.
I have seen your heart.
Yeah. And how are we doing? Alright, looks like we can still reach.
I serve the lady. Making my way.
Don't want to be in the way here.
My sight.
Alright, how about now? Now we are no longer in range. Okay, meaning you have to just back off. Yeah, alright. Looks like the other two are not going to be able to reach. It may be that we could switch and this is not actually buggy, but I'm not willing to risk it right now. I don't trust the game. It's screwed me too many times. Regrowth? That probably is the way to go here. I mean, we could start getting our way through the Worshippers of the Grail, admittedly, but it's not like we're in a rush to get rank 7, because they're nowhere there yet. Though, admittedly, the Grail Knights are, but they're already so strong that, you know, not the biggest of deals either. Yeah, let's go for Regrowth and Magical Reserves, I guess. It's not like we've been miscasting a lot with the Fay Enchantress. You will obviously get Light of the Lady, and we've been saving for Healer to get the additional Casualty or Punishment trait, Battle Healing Cap, and Light of the Lady uses for a little bit more short-range healing. You, Louis, I guess are going to grab that Grail Banishment. It'll help you on your duels with whatever jerks you run into, and let's get Selective Abhorrence. We'll eventually get True Hero Bretonnia, but right now it is of little use to us because technically, well, not technically, but factually, our army is free, at least for the next 8 or so turns. Alright. Then, do we need to do anything else before we attack? I don't think we do. Therefore, we will attack. Alrighty, I think I said this army, right? Peter Zukrugenheim, yes. You have the Spellbreakers with their magical damage, and yeah. Frankly, neither of the two armies are that big of a deal, but if you destroy 2 armies, does it only count for 1? In terms of the errantry completion? Because it counts as 1 victory, right? And why did the banner of... Oh, right. It was on these guys before because we wanted them to level up, and I guess that still remains the case. Alright, it's fighting time. Alrighty, here we go. Big old pile of Barrow Legionnaires, I guess, against us, and they're coming in on 2 different sort of sides of the map. Granted, we have some of our own reinforcements, though from what we've experienced in the past, I doubt that we'll need them. Anyway, this time, since the enemy lord is actually all the way up in the sky, we're not going to send the Green Knight to go and kill him in a duel. We're going to send the Green Knight to go after the Crypt Hulks instead, and at the very least keep them busy, but otherwise damage them as much as possible. Our knights are going to start their charges with the Fay Enchantress also engaged with a few units, while our flying paladin will take the role of going after the enemy lord this time. Now the enemy lord has summoned his flock of bats towards him, and will be going after the paladin with their help, though they are debuffed by our air superiority debuffs, and I mean 89, 72, good luck with that basically. It might take a while to actually bring down the enemy lord because the paladins aren't particularly killy, but well, they'll outlast the enemy. And that's saying something when you're outlasting a vampire. Or a Slaneshi. Anyway, we have the Black Knights charging in, or at least attempting to do so, but it looks like the units of Grail Guardians caught up to them, and the Endesne rapidly starts tearing them to shreds, while our peasants continue to close the distance, and by the looks of it, we'll be starting to, well, fight soon enough. The enemy reinforcements have arrived, and our Grail Knights are still charging around all over the place, sending ghouls flying, or wow. Half of those ghouls didn't get sent flying. I think they just exploded into bits. Ouch. I assume that means that that particular unit had been charged previously, so the models basically had, well, a lot of the models, I should say, had low HP. Having taken the first hit to impact damage. And then I guess the second one just exploded them into bits, which works out well for us. Anyway, we've got the enemy on the ropes, or at the very least the first army. The enemy lord is, well, not quite down to 60% HP, but he's not super happy in terms of his leadership as his army is getting absolutely annihilated. And especially now that our peasants have arrived, the enemy can't really move around. Not that they were doing all that much in the first place. We got various buffs on our own units, currently using the immune to psychology buff. Actually, I doubled up on that by accident, but yeah, it's all good. And the main thing is, of course, so that our peasants don't go rushing away. Though, admittedly, with the Grail relics there, we should be safe because they provide the icon of devotion, 75-meter range, which is pretty decent. It's in the immune to psychology, and that's important here. Otherwise, your peasant mobs and your garbage units will just start running away from all the undead. Otherwise, the first army has maybe 10% of its units remaining. The Fay Enchantress still fighting out here. She actually has been fighting effectively by herself this entire time, and doing pretty good, but maybe not quite as good as the Knights of Ni here, who are up to 1,000 kills and 140,000 damage. But they're the ones that have been doing the charging, though. You may have noticed that the Enders Nay have been mostly fighting more elite units instead. And there we go, Fay Enchantress keeping on executing stuff. Somebody said that they think that the Fay Enchantress should be on foot in the comments. I still haven't decided. I think I said it in either the first or the second episode whenever we got Sylvain here. The thing that bothers me is that she does have a unique named mount, so it feels wrong not to use the unique named mount, but at the same time, feels a lot more unique as a lord with her floating overhead and then just, nuking things with her magics. So I can't decide. I would like to hear you guys' opinions, though. I could just pop it on and off here and there. The main thing about the loss of the unicorn is our stats don't really change, but we do lose like half of our speed as well as Vanguard deployment. So then the Fay Enchantress wouldn't really be able to close the distance with the enemy, and would have to stay with the pack of peasants. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing, but anyway. This time we have a lord that the Green Knight can actually duel, though he is surrounded by a giant pile of units. That giant pile of units is going to be depleted sooner rather than later. The charges as yet continue. Oh, it's just so entertaining. Those poor zombies and crypt ghouls and grave guard. It doesn't really matter. Whatever infantry there is, it's going to get sent flying. And we've charged through 3 or 4 successive units. This is definitely reminding me of the Lewin campaign for obvious reasons, but it's funnily enough also reminding me of the Cetra campaign, because the Necropolis Knights are capable of this exact same thing, and we were doing the exact same sort of deal with them, and just riding through the enemy ranks. And technically Scarbrand is also capable of this thing, but I feel like that isn't intentional with his gameplay. It's just something he's capable of doing. But him standing there and not actually attacking with his axes just bothers me too much, so I never used him like that. But anyway, it's just a personal thing. The bounce bar has shifted to about 90% in our favor. Our reinforcements have arrived on field, and we are getting artillery support as they're positioned up on the hill, and the reinforcements are there to protect them should we need it, though I don't imagine we do. Little bits of armor-piercing projectiles coming down on those Graveguard, who have suffered about 50% of their HP and damage. I believe our knights are also running around somewhere, but at this point I believe they've stopped charging the main pack, and instead have surrounded and are in the process of, have just completed destroying a pack of Crypt Hulks and their little tiny Crypt Ghoul cousins. Which means a couple more charges are warranted, a couple of last charges I should say. The Wardens of La Maison-Tal continue to pin the enemy in place, and the Grail Knights that they worship ride through the entire blob of enemies, cutting a good, half or 3/4 of the remaining down, considering how badly damaged the enemy were. The enemy lord falls, defeated by, well, whoever was going after him. We drop a Comet of Cassandora with the Chalice of Potion, send a few more units flying to round out the battle, just because we can. I think in terms of starting army, just by virtue of starting with a unit of Grail Guardians, is the Fay Enchantress perhaps the strongest starting army? Because Grail Guardians are absolutely insane. I wonder. I'm almost tempted to say maybe she should start with just the Fay Enchantress and the Grail Guardians and nothing else. Maybe a couple of peasants, maybe a few peasant bobs, but nothing else other than just the garbagest of peasants and the single unit of Grail Knights. No men-at-arms, no arrows, just this. Plus, it'll be a good teaching opportunity for people who just start their game with Bretonnia playing for the first time, and thereby can learn just how menacing Super Cav like this can be. Anyway, apparently a close victory, probably due to magic expenditure. I don't imagine we took that much damage. Alrighty, there we go. A nice little fight and a good showcase of the difference when just keeping a unit of knights still. The Endesnay essentially just, well, didn't do a lot of cycle charging and did things like fight the Crypt Hulks in melee, as well as a few of the other units, versus the Knights of Ni, who, again, we needed the additional XP for, and thusly we kept them charging the entire time, and getting 1,505 kills and 220,000 damage. Pretty darn crazy. And of course, this time we also let the peasants play around. Look at that. 20,000, 24,000 on the best performing unit of peasants mobs, or best performing of units of peasant mobs, and that's pretty darn good. They actually outdamaged the battle pilgrims. In large part by virtue, I would imagine, of the giant piles of units that they are made up of, and the fact that, well, admittedly, they probably got in the way of the battle pilgrims to some degree. Nonetheless, it was a nice fight, and we got ourselves 4,000 gold for it, getting our gold back for the 4,000 we spent. Alrighty, I was Non-vampiric armies will suffer losses due to attrition when in undead territory or areas with high vampiric attrition. I'd just like to point out that Sir Amalric has this. Scourge of the Undying, immune to vampiric territory attrition. When I originally read this, I was wondering whether this would make the army immune or whether it would make him immune. Apparently it makes nobody immune. Well, that's just silly. Potion of Farsight. We don't have a lot of these types of items. Let's fuse into Healing Potion. Holy Icon. Oh, terrible. Okay, well, hopefully we can... We can fuse that into something else. Eventually. Wait, what did I fuse? Spotter Spyglass was when we can't, whatever, it doesn't matter. We'll find more stuff to fuse. Wait a second.
We have met before.
That is the second holy icon we have, so we can fuse these into another Trickster Shard. Magnificent. Absolutely magnificent. Hey, and then Companions of Quenelle are unlocked. Good. I want the other Trickster Shard. Frankly, I would like it on the Fay Enchantress, but for now, maybe we will have Sir Amalric hold it. With him applying Grail Banishment, well, admittedly... Enchantress also has some nice stuff. I'm gonna put it on you for now, and I'll think about it as to who I want holding this. It depends where you're located in the fight, really. I don't really care about the barrier. Admittedly, the Fay Enchantress will not forever be holding the Mane of the Pure Breed, but at the same time, she can't hold it because of Morgiana's mirror anyway. So I guess it doesn't really matter. We'll just have to pick one of the other units to hold it, which, you know, fair enough. The Friar may actually be the better option, just because the Friar will be in the middle of the pack, as it were. Also, we need rank 9, I take it, to evolve these guys one final time to Grail Guardians. By the looks of it, yes. Alright, so Fay Enchantress. You are able to raid, which will make you immune to this attrition. Wait, no, it won't. Yes, it will. Spread the word does make you immune to attrition. Oh, lovely. Alright, and I think in regular stance, by the looks of what we just saw, we should be able to reach Kazad's citizen in one turn, so we're okay. You can spread the word, and you can not spread the word. I guess I'll just channel. Frankly, with only a single unit, you don't really... you don't need to maintain full HP, so frankly, you two are better off channeling. Anyway, we'll get a little bit of cash after for the raiding as well. Not much, but every little bit counts, of course. Now, the main thing is this. First of all, the Green Knight is going to be gone next turn. So this is all useful. Is there anything that we could get any mileage out of for one turn? Probably not, eh? Income from all buildings, corruption reduction in all provinces. I don't think we have any corruption reduction. That would help us right now. Since he's going to be reset, right? Yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter then. Take peasant rumors. It was the thing we were going for anyway. Assuming it works. Huh. A moment. Wait, these guys were at 15 armor? So that means these guys should be at 35 armor, right? Yeah, they are at 35 armor. Okay, it does work. So yeah, the main thing about this being gone, of Green Knight being gone next turn, is we will lose the +3 hero recruit rank. And especially for the prophetesses. I would like to see if there's a prophetess we want to get on field in the meantime. I don't care for this one. Protected seems kind of terrible. Maybe we could get another one of the ladies' favor one in case we want to have another army with a decent number of battle pilgrims to combine with other stuff. There's certainly a possibility for that. Earthbound is kind of meh. Or at the very least, it's very boring. Word to say for heroes in the army, it's fine, but again, it's not particularly interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna say Jolene here is the pick. Alright, actually, speaking of the prophetesses, we will take you and upgrade your peasant's purpose and your arcane wisdom. Like so. And we got a vampire count's errantry. Alright, that one we can take. Lovely. But the item rewards seem to be kind of meh for that. Anyway, Alicia the Saracen, you need to keep recruiting. And, ooh, wait, actually, Olivier of the Braid, you will grab this Blessed Field Trebuchet, and I believe you're ready to move, i.e. to deliver to our main stack the reinforcements to replace... actually, I wonder if it would be faster to go through the mountains and meet up there while we're not at war with these guys. There's something to think about. And where are you going? Hi, are you going to try to chase these guys down? That's interesting. Also, how's this place? One more turn until upgrade. I really want to make that trade early to get Miragliano maxed out. Actually, speaking of Miragliano, let's upgrade it to tier 4, regardless of the fact that we don't yet have the commandment there. We'll obviously want to upgrade the Grand Landed Estate here. And I guess the coaching end, and we're rapidly going to run out of cash at this rate, but it is what it is. Here... we'll want Grail Chapels everywhere. Frankly, we also need these everywhere. The Royal Menageries, mostly for the hero capacity for Paladins and Sons of Bretonnia, because we barely have any of those, so I think we'll start up on that. And we can save money by using Valor to upgrade it. I did want to get another fleet-footed Friar as well, so let's get you on field.
I served a lady.
Rich of Audacity. Right. It's not a bad pick for certain armies either. What about the Damsels? Visage of the Lady, we got another one of Favored by the Lady. We should pretty much get these whenever possible, because they will always be, you know, slotted into any army that has any peasant ranged units, which a fair few of them will. A little bit of a shame that it doesn't seem to... wait. It applies to the Erimo Chasseur. Actually, it does. Okay. Actually, I think I might know which army to put you in, and you're the only one that's favored by the lady? Yeah, alright, fine, fair enough. I'm almost tempted to get another one up and running as a tech thief. As in yet another one up and running as a tech thief. Actually, speaking of the tech thieves, we should keep thieving tech. You can de-corrupt and go to Carrick Exvilas, and then you can, I don't know, stay at Buftar. Or you can even go down here. Well, actually, you failed last time. Go to Domutberg. There we go. I'd like to keep vision of what the heck is going on in these vampiric territories, so... like so. Lovely, and you both succeeded as well.
What is your behest?
Wound. Alrighty. So yeah, we have one more chance to get another one to do the tech thievery, so I guess we should, shouldn't we? Alrighty, any of you good at tech thievery? Now, we wanted the ones that are something by mist, shrouded by mist or something like that. Yeah, none of these actually do anything for... heroes on field. We'll just keep it to 2 for now then. Alrighty, ooh, I believe you also... wait, not you. You have Brigand. Something can be built here. As to what, however, I do not remember what I wanted. Something critical here. Wait, We can still get a paladin capacity out of a tier 3 structure like this, so there is an argument to be made for that. The other argument, of course, would be to either build the Tailors for money or the Shrine of the Lady for money and chivalry. I'll think about it. Neither one is too critical right now, so let's see if there's anything that is critical. Aha! Alright, so let's upgrade the farm here, landed estate. Let's upgrade the Chapel of the Lady to next tier. Wow, 7 turns to build it. Does take a while in the yellow territories. And then here will most likely be a capacity building some kind, either the Grail Chapel or the Paladin building, and I'm not entirely sure yet which, so we will, I guess we'll wait on that one. Alright, next up we got Diplomacy.
Who calls?
Non-aggression pact, South Confederacy, currently at war with Yellow Eye. I mean, yeah, sure, you could probably be a trading partner at some point. We can stay friendly with all the southern realms for now. I'm not going to get vision of them because I don't want to have to send armies down there as of yet. Carrick Ziflin wants to non-aggress, most likely because they lost their main stack fighting the Broken Axe. Go figure. Alrighty, Tobaro is fine. Monfa, any of these we want a defensive alliance with? Probably, but not yet. Although, Monfa is willing to pay us a decent amount of cash for this. They're even willing to trade, but I'd rather trade with a faction that will give us more money, so we'll ignore this for now. Now, I see some of the AI are also building crownless lords, interestingly.
To serve my oath.
No, it's not just us. Alrighty, and the rest of this is good. Although, with the Marshes of Corun likely to be destroyed by the Dark Elves, or at the very least possibly destroyed by the Dark Elves, maybe the military alliance is a decent option. Free 3,000 gold. I don't see them attacking the Wood Elves, and I don't see them attacking... I mean, we're already in the military, or defensive alliance. They could attack orcs, they could attack... Probably nobody that matters to us. Yeah, we'll take the money for this. And again, if I could just hold off on drawing any of these factions into fights, then it'll be fine. Kuran is actually the same way, and you know what? I feel like it makes sense to have a military alliance with Kuran. For the Fay Enchantress not to be allied with the Royarch seems a little bit odd. The Wood Elves will wait a little bit in case they start fighting the Dwarfs, because, you know, we'll want to wait. And I believe that's it. We have no missions, and therefore we're good. I did get a little bit of money, but I think we can hold off on spending it for now. How many turns until Castle Carcassonne is ready? Some. Oh, we need to keep recruiting. Alrighty, so we've got the Royal Hippogriff Knights coming in, and oh, right, I wanted to get a Lord up and running for that, but I suppose we have to wait for that anyway, because that Lord will need Foot Squires. Oh, also we'll need more Knights Errant. Right, start with some Knights Errant, and then after that, build 4 Foot Squires. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, wow, they're still dirt cheap. Magnificent. And decently armored. Alright, keep building those. For everybody. And I believe we're good to end the turn. No, I lied. Bertrand the Brigand has not, in fact, moved. He can't reach Morgulus Troll Leader. I do wonder if Morgulus could reach us.
Lady of Athel Lauren.
If we could... Oh. Grommy is right there, probably going for Deravan Libre. I wonder. I wish I could see what was in his army. Alfred, you are a cunning guy, and you are going to join the Great Sword Army, so that's this one. Not that this army couldn't potentially use some ambushes, but you are probably good as you are. And then... Almost tempted to say we should stay here for now and see how these guys act over the next turn, and then, you know, base what we're gonna do off of that. And I think that is indeed what we're gonna do. So you guys stay here for the turn, and we'll see. Malene, you're waiting for troops, so you're fine. Fleur, Gustav, double Gustav, and I believe that's it. Alright, let us skip, and I think we're free to end the turn.
Devotee of the lady.
Yeah, alright. Let's end the turn. Let's see if the undead have any further reactions to our actions. And then we'll figure it out. Hopefully Kemmler's still alive. I like his defeat trait, although I don't remember what it is. I want to say spell resistance, but I could be wrong. If it's spell resistance for army, it wouldn't be so bad, because we've already stacked 40 spell resistance on any Grail... Well, on any Battle Pilgrims, rather. Which is nice, but now I'm thinking, if it only gives them spell resistance but doesn't do anything for the peasant mobs, who are the ones that are more likely... Hey, there's Kemler. Who are the ones more likely to get hit by, for example, the Comet of Cassandora, then, well, it wouldn't matter too much anyway. Because like an extra 10% spell resistance is really not gonna save the peasants from a comet any more than it would have saved them from that nuke to the face. Them's the breaks. Also, I wonder how the dwarfs are feeling about us now. We're still very much allied with the... we're still very much allied with all the wood elves, but we are attacking a lot of their enemies. We've wiped out Skavenblight, so that should put us in their good books, you'd think, but no. Allying with the wood elves is too much of a grudgeon. Well, minus the, like, 3 or 4 wood elf factions that didn't ally with us. Like Aranak, I saw that. And I believe we are good.
I see you are true of heart.
What do you want?
Nobleman.
No. No military alliance for you, sir. Alright, and now the Green Knight will disappear. A new regional power. Confederation... Really? You confederated Tilth... Oh, don't confederate other Wood Elven factions, you little jerk face. Oh, that's not good. And the Raider for Verna Paravant. You are... Yeah, you're supposed to get that, that's fine. And Raider for Fleur of the Braid. You are also... Yeah, you're also supposed to get that, that's also fine. Alright, tradable resources. A vow fulfilled, the Green Knight departs, though we can summon him back... free growth. Vagabond. Royal Pegasus for Verna Paravant, sure. Green Knight may be summoned each time your chivalry... I guess not this... Oh, he's on cooldown. Huh. I know that there would be a cooldown, but it would give us time to at least research these 2 techs, and we don't have to do it immediately, though we will actually probably do 1 immediately, because I want to reduce Harbor Master bribes down to 1 turn, rather than 2. So let's go for Vengeful. I think here we'll reduce the time, will it? Like the cooldown? By the looks of it now. Fair enough. Fair enough, and I think this reduces... this is Green Knight will aid you when defending for 180 seconds, if not summoned. You may call upon the Green Knight, blah 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 blah. But nothing says about anything about the cooldown. Alright, fair enough. Fay Enchantress, are you indeed able to reach Kazed Citizen? Yes, you are. We're gonna head over there. Like so. Wait, does this make us immune to... 1 second. No, I was just wondering whether the Crusade stance would make us immune to attrition, but it does not. Oh, these guys have a territory here. This is quite interesting. First of all, you need an upgrade. As a critical, nah, we're below 10k gold per turn again. A bit of a shame. I do note the Grommy has landed here at Deravan Libra, and ooh. He's got actually a pretty solid stack there. Would you be able to win this against him? That's certainly a question. Is it a question that we should have answered? We could attack him directly. It would most likely allow Bordelot Errant to grab these territories, but we would probably have free reign to occupy at least some of the territories here. I do wonder whether we'd be able to take Barrows of Quila if it's a defended, but I am also inclined to attempt to find out. So I think we're gonna strike. Let's level and let's do this, because I think it'll be the much more interesting battle. Let's level up the Highwayman and go into Rally. That's the critical stuff. Alright, let's grab Life Bloom, and then we want a second point in... Well, I was about to say second point in Earthblood, but I think we'll want to grab Dwellers Below and possibly even regrowth for this. I think we'll want to have access to the Dwellers Below here and the emergency regrowth. I would like the ability to overcast Life Bloom, but frankly I actually use the non-overcast and spam it as much as possible instead of overcasting it. And just because the more spells you can cast, the more you have Life Bloom activations, and with such a strong passive, it may be better to just spam spells. Anyway, let's go for that emergency regrowth. You, Legendary Hero. Let's get you... Well, esteemed combatant wouldn't help us in this particular fight, so it doesn't matter over much. We should probably start moving towards that perfect balance thing, as 8 melee defense is really quite nice. You need 6 points in order to unlock it, eh? Well, let's start with the ammunition for Hero's Army. It's pretty critical. I don't really care about your personal damage, though the additional bonus versus large may actually come in quite handy, so we'll do that. And do you need to reposition quickly? I think you're okay. Let's get big reach. Alrighty, what about you? You have the Light of the Lady. Oh, does this guy not get... I was about to say, does he not get healer? But he gets battle healing cap, so he gets something sort of similar, so yeah. Righteous Fury, we can start trying to move towards these, which does give us vigor loss reduction for the army, which is quite nice. And I guess that's probably the way to do it. Free 7 melee attack for a single point. It's not bad. You gotta go with the free 7 melee attack, and the retinue valet is pretty much always useful. Alrighty, then Bertrand. Who is this guy fighting? Bordelot Errant. We will ask you to join the war against the Broken Axe, and... Really? Okay. Who else is at war with the Broken Axe? We got Ziflin and Brienne. Well, Brienne we're already trading with. Actually, I just want to see something.
At the lady's disposal.
Nobody's really all that close to the trade agreements. Military access with Argolon. And defensive alliance, yeah, why not? Though the dwarfs ain't gonna be happy about that one, but it is what it is. And Durthu's kind of a maniac, and this may not be the best idea in the world, but it is what it is. Also, what are you not liking? You don't like the treaties with Tolzin? What do you mean you don't like the treaties with Tolzin? Okay. Whatever.
Who calls?
I don't even care.
Glorious death.
And the rest of this, I think, we're free to ignore, at least for now. Alrighty. Oh, Tobaro is now engaged in war with the Mask. Huh. That's actually good. Partly because I wanted their territory, and partly because it will divert more of the Mask's... oh, wow. Again, they moved quite far. It will divert more of the Mask's armies away from Tehanawan, who I would like to keep alive. Though I do wonder what the rats are busy with doing right now. You're not at war with them, are you? Oh, you are at war with Eshin. Huh, go figure. Well, let's see if you can hold off on them. Or hold them off, whatever. Frankly, if they attack Saint Jacques with a full stack, there is pretty much nothing we can do about it, but we are pumping those armies out. Or at least working on it, so... Yeah, anyway, I got distracted again. Bertrand, you will attack this... I guess we'll just ask for money for Bordelot, since the military... Well, I guess we could go straight for a military alliance. Join this, trade agreement, military alliance, give money. Yeah, why not? Go for allying with the other dukedoms.
It shall be an honor to...
Thank you, thank you. And I do believe we're free to strike. Alright, let's do it. And see if we can pull it off without losing all our stuff. It's certainly going to be a toughie. We got a lot of range units, and they've got a lot of pump wagons, which is... and especially since these are not the range units that can move while firing. Hopefully we can intercept them. Anyway, you go here. You go here. Or should I say... Ugo here. Anyway, I'm so stupid. What do we want for points for these guys? Is there anything really worth our time here? Not really. We should probably get you slippery in case you're drawn into the fight. It's a distinct possibility. So waylay, foe seeker. Actually, you should have inspiring presence. And outfox and stuff doesn't really help here since you don't have an actual army. Let's get you that. Also, do you not have inspiring presence? You do. All right, so you're good. Basic training, you don't really have an army. Okay, what about the friar? You. Let's grab you Gift of the Lady, which might potentially help. We should still grab increased mobility, and there's nothing here. Alright, let's do it like this. Fight. Alrighty, here we go. I always get confused when I keep expecting a speech, but Bertrand the Brigand doesn't give one. Well, partly because he's a modded lord, but also maybe it I mean, it would also kind of make sense. I mean, if his army is going to be focused on being silent and ambushing and all that sort of stuff, maybe you don't yell a big old battle speech to broadcast your position, you know what I mean? Anyway, this should be a pretty interesting fight. It's the Brigand and the Paunch facing off against each other, and Mr. the Paunch has brought plenty of those pump wagons that he so loves. Does he have any boar chariots? Got at least one, I think, somewhere, unless I'm mistaken. But he certainly has a ton of pump wagons that we're going to have to do our best to focus down. We are starting off on doing so with Bertrand and his Bowmen of Bergerac, focusing them down as best they can, while our crossbows move a little bit forward into position to start firing upon them. But it looks like the enemy army is repositioning themselves to sort of shadow the movements of our army, and in doing so keeps getting itself further away from the crossbows and the other units. But it's all good, we'll just have to keep moving up until the enemy starts moving towards us, and keep firing at them until we're ready to go. Also, I do like the sort of smattering of different kinds of armors that all of the crossbows and all the brigands really have. Somebody in the comments said that they feel like they're a little bit better equipped than the bog standard men-at-arms at times, and I feel like that makes sense. I mean, if these guys are supposed to be outlaws and brigands, they're going to be killing random jerks. Those, you know, especially those random jerks who support the corrupt lords and all, and then taking, you know, the occasional hat from men-at-arms, maybe some chainmail, maybe some basic sort of leather helmets or whatever those are, hide, I don't know, made of. Basically anything they can get their hands on, and various different types as well. Like I said, it makes complete sense. I feel like it would have been a nice touch if you occasionally, just occasionally, got like a random knight helmet on one of them. But anyway, I digress. We've got the enemy moving towards us now, and we can see that they've suffered some damage moving on in. We have been trying to focus down as many of the pump wagons as possible on the left flank, but on the right flank, we have moved all, technically four, though the fourth one has backed off now, all of our brigand raiders forward, just to tie up the pump wagons. Technically speaking, especially the pump roller, or the spiky rollers rather, are still very solid in melee, and against light cav they can and will win. Heck, I've seen them bring down monsters and lords just by surrounding them and, you know, doing that little move forward attack animation that they've got. They've always been a horrifically overpowered unit for their particular cost, but we can still make it easier on ourselves by pinning as many of them in place and not allowing them to move at all. It does look like some of our axes are suffering a little bit, the brigands with great axes against the night gobs, and the night gobs didn't get the kills themselves. It was the spinning loons that they released, which effectively did 50% HP damage to that unit. Grom the Paunch is in the midst of our back line now at about 80% of his HP. And probably healing. Keep in mind that Grom's Wa is unique, that it heals his entire army, so the more times he can use it, the higher the effective HP of the entire enemy force. There it goes. And yeah, we got heal per second, and it's... how long does it last, out of curiosity? 30 seconds? Yeah, 50% heal for 30 seconds, not too bad. For the entire army, mind you, all the while increasing their attacks and all that. Alright, it's time to close the distance. The arrows aren't really working so well at actually hurting Grom considerably, so we're going to close the distance with our little heroes. And it's just the fact that Grom has low defense, and we're more likely to actually deliver damage in melee, even with Mr. Robin Hood here, rather than in range, just because, you know, range lords are kind of terrible. With a few exceptions. Like Lethanar will still mess you up, but Wolfheart is very meh. And I mean, even Wolfheart is okay compared to generic range lords. Like, you can stand there plinking away with an Empire Huntsmaster and do frickin' nothing for like 10 minutes until you run out of ammunition. But anyway, I digress. I just get annoyed by them. The Grom the Paunch looks like he's breaking even Lucky Banner up and running. He's gonna shatter. And it looks like the Brigands do manage to carry the day. Very, very nice. We certainly took some damage. The brigands that held back the giant while we were pincushioning it were fairly badly hurt. I think the MVPs have to go to the brigand raiders. A, because they did very solid damage here, 13k, but they held back a full 4, I think, units of the enemy snotling pump wagons plus a unit of boar boys, and kept them pinned against this rock, essentially, where they couldn't essentially menace our back line, which, considering we have very few melee in this particular army, did work out very well, as they thusly weren't able to charge through our melee units and into our crossbows. A lovely fight, you gotta admit. Alrighty, looks like we actually managed to pull it off pretty handily. It was nonetheless close, as we were looking like we were about to get overwhelmed there for a second, which makes sense since we only have 5, well, melee sort of infantry units, but those melee infantry units did well, especially those great axes, as we've seen, with the big damage that they can deal, fragile though they may be. The biggest issue for us was, well, of course, Grom's Wa actually healing all the enemy units, and on top of that, the pile of pump wagons, though the brigand raiders did well to essentially slow them down, stop them, lock them down, and is probably the more appropriate choice of words here. We were having a little bit of a trouble with the savage giants and single entities like it and Grom, but this army will eventually be able to deal with them just fine. The other big issue was the goblin fanatics with their spinning loons and dishing out more damage than, well, really anything else in their army that isn't a Grom or a giant. So yeah, still nice fight. We'll occupy the place. And Savior for Gustav, and Weight Watcher gives us terror when fighting greenskins and diplomatic relations with high elves. Another hedge wizard is also nice. Do you have Savior? You do. Okay, good. I was just wondering. And I guess, wait, are the Bowmen and Bergerac here? I see the Esperant hoods, Brigand crossbows, Brigand waylayers, they are not. So the Regiment of Renown that we have will not benefit from this unless they're in... Oh. I see Arimos here and guided by the lady. Yeah, I guess our Regiment of Renown, unless... Wait. It could be that the Regiment of Renown is considered to be one of these types of units, so maybe we should get this anyway. We should probably get stand your ground ASAP, so that should still be the case. I don't know if that did anything for them. Physical resistance 10%. Do you have any physical resistance? At 10%. Everybody here has 10% though, but you're not rank 7, so I don't imagine, yeah, it didn't have any effect there. Also, we could probably name a few things. Yeah, let's do a random naming now. Let's do the Brigands with the Great Axes. I've been very impressed with how they've been doing. And I will like to put a few of them in another army or two. What should we name them? Considering these Great Axes will actually evolve into polearms. For the purpose of that, of this particular... Well, I guess it doesn't really matter very much. Okay, let's do the proletariat. Like so. How about Bretonnia People's Front? And how about Le Bourret? I cannot do the accent, or maybe I can, but I'm not sure what the set of keys to do it is. So just imagine it's there, okay? Use your imagination. And okay, we gotta name at least one of these guys. You can be men in tights, like so. And I think that means we should probably upgrade you to aspirant hoods. At the point that we're actually able to do so. Also, you guys, wait, you two should channel. Oh, actually, no, you shouldn't because you are maxed out. You're not, though. So you can channel. And then I guess we're going to have to book it back here and try to head into the mountains. These territories will probably be retaken by the other Bretonnian factions, but that's fine. That's fine. Hopefully we'll have other places to spread out to. I don't imagine the rats will lose to these guys, for example. Oh, wow, really? Really, even with all the growth stuff that we've been spamming, the AI cheats mean that they were able to reach the tier 5 faster than we do. Oh, AI cheating. I love it. Anyway, Renee and Co. Okay, we'll deal with you in a second. What I wanted to do was continue the naming rounds for you. Although, is it safe to move you this way? Maybe it would be safer to go around like this, but it would take so dang much longer. There isn't an orc force here that could punish you for this, I think. We could risk it. And I'm just gonna have to hope that nothing bad happens. Failure? Oh, come on now. Alright, I think we'll risk it. We are on the approach, after all, with our main stack. Also, let's see, so we have Science Masters, the Expendables, Nothing to Lose, Les Miserables, Resistance is Feudal, Reliquary Tenders, okay, you two aren't named. Alrighty, so, Battle Pilgrims, let us do... you can be... how about the Tartan Army? And you can be Morgiana's Merry Men, like so. And then we get the Grail Relic. You shall be the never-ending... Damn it. Knight, like so. And you shall be... Just double-checking. No horse needed. That you don't already have a name, plus the Blessed Field Trebuchet. These are all going into our main stack, assuming that they don't die while we're moving them through the mountains, which is a possibility. What am I going to name here? What did I select? Oh, it was the Trebuchet, yes. How about... you're a Holy Trebuchet, or Blessed Field Trebuchet. How about Holy Hand Grenade? Like so. Makes sense to me. Alright.
Sorceress.
Looks good. Huh. Khazad Furkund is not well defended. In theory, if we really wanted to, we could actually probably take it with this army. We wouldn't be able to take Karak Exfilaz most likely because it has the defensive actually it doesn't. It just has more units on the field.
Prophetess. Your coming was foretold.
It's interesting. Is there anything here that we would be bringing to any of these guys? Technically, the Defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis are going to probably go into Renee's army. She's our oldest lord. And I wanted an army with Knights Errant that would stay as Knights Errant. So you know what? Maybe we'll do this. We'll grab the Defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis. We'll put them in this army. Then we will go for Blade Master and Training. And then you...
We have met before.
Generous Spirit, so you can actually get spell work. Just need to make sure that you save 3 points, so 2 points, so you can get Flock of Doom, Wild Heart, and then you'll have enough for the Peasant's Purpose into Arcane Wisdom. Then, I'm pretty sure we're free to attack these guys now. You are at war with Talzin and Trontio. Wait, Trontio, that's these guys.
You have
Join
a
war.
proposal? We are willing to
It's
hear
Broken Nose. Really, that's all you're gonna offer us? We could get 893 money. We could do the Defensive Alliance, but I'm actually kind of inclined to save that just in case there's value to it when we trade our BMO, if we can make that succeed. How about you, Talzin? Join war against Broken Nose. You'll give us 1.443. Wait, I didn't check how much the other guys were gonna give us. My bad, guys, my bad.
Stranger.
893, less useless, completely useless. Urge to kill rising. Anyway. Join war, Broken Nose, yeah, sure. We're not gonna do the military alliance for you for now, just because the dwarfs are nearby and I don't want to deal with them yet. Though deal with them eventually we will. I also want to double check how the Wood Elves are looking in terms of grabbing a few of those Wood Elven units. Specifically, yes, wait. While we're at war with these guys, now is the time to grab a few Wildwood Rangers because they'll be cheaper. And I did want Wildwood Rangers in one of those armies. And some Treekin would also be very nice. And some Eagleswood and Hawk Riders would also be very nice. There's a bunch of units that would be very nice. That would work nicely with our stuff. Also, these guys don't have an aura, do they? Like a buffing aura? No. Okay, just double checking. I wanted to see if they had something like the Sisters of Avalorn or the Gate Guard or anything like that. Yeah, Oh! We're actually able to construct Wildwood Wardens? I didn't think we would. I thought they were unique to the Wood Elves, but I guess they were just added. Oh, that's nice. That's real nice. They're a similar type of unit that also has stock, so we'll probably want 2 Wildwood Wardens and 2 Wildwood Rangers. These guys are effectively the sort of stronger variant of the unit, but I like the idea. Alright, we'll start with the Warden unit. And we'll go for the Rangers after. Gotta build these while we are close and while these guys are still alive, which won't be for long.
Yes.
Then, Renee and Julian here. Do we need any items for any of you? Alright, so, wait, first of all, Renee. Trickster Shard and Channeling Staff. Lancer's Blades actually might be a decent option, but only would be for one of you that's actually going to be fighting, and I'm not entirely sure you're going to be one of those, so that'll have to wait. Gambler's Armor and the Sword of Strife are for our next Lord. Oh, actually, that reminds me.
Your behest?
Lord, that will be you. Virtue of Empathy. Oh, now we freaking... The Green Knight disappears, so we lose the bonus ranks, and now we get a Virtue of the Ideal Lord. Okay. We'll get the Virtue of Empathy guy. Or, yeah, we'll get you on the field because I was going to make you into an actual fighter. And you can have the Hippogriff mount, which is why you are going to be given the Royal Hippogriff Knights.
Your coming was foretold.
And then a bunch of peasants.
I have seen your heart.
Yes. Alrighty, so thusly, since you're going to be on a Hippogriff, you're probably going to be a good choice for the Talisman of Preservation? Wait, what is the Fay Enchantress using? A moment. One moment. She is using the Talisman of Endurance. Oh, the reason being that it gives her additional battle healing cap. Plus 25%, and because she's constantly healing. I'm not actually sure which is better, but for now, I just want to do a little bit of the itemization. So let's do Talisman of Preservation for you then. Probably going to give you the Trickster's Helm as well, but for now, let's give you, I guess, a Sword of Strife? Although, you know what? Let's actually give you the Fencer's Blades for now. The fact is, once you're on the Hippogriff, you're going to be a bigger target. Frankly, we're also going to need to either give you a magical sword or something that gives you... Where's Gambler's Armor? There it is. Or something that gives you the... a Lich Bone Pendant. That's the one I was thinking of. And there is, once again, not a lot. We really need the magic item stuff. Alright, I think we're going to try to book it towards... this thing as fast as possible. Restore Grail Chapels. Which also sounds like the thing that you want to do. Also, let's upgrade this for some of the Valor before we fight or do anything. Anyway, that was a little bit of a distraction. You, in the meantime, can attack Khazad Frukand
For Bretonnia.
and start moving this way through these guys' territories. Alrighty, close to feet. I think we can handle it, though. We do have the Defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis. They may be anti-large, but we'd need somebody to take care of the Orc Boar Boys, and... yeah, go.
For Bretonnia.
Alrighty, here we go. We've got this little army that is just holding the troops that we are supposed to deliver, with the exception of the Defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis, which is supposed to go to a different army, but everybody else here is the up-armored version of our basic troops, including the Resistance is Futile. Again, still my favorite name so far. Well, maybe I'll start highlighting my favorite names of the campaign at the end of the campaigns. I feel like that'll be nice. Maybe make a list of them or something. But anyway, I was talking about something before I distracted myself with the funny name. Yeah, this is the stuff that's supposed to go to the Fay Enchantress. We will have to be careful here because we're primarily basic garbage, and this is not the peasant mobs and stuff that are buffed by the Fay Enchantress. They're the basic variant. On the bright side, we have the Defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis. I've always loved their color scheme. It looks pretty great. And I just really like the sort of black and white checker patterns on the cab. I think we have one more unit that has a similar pattern, unless I'm mistaken, on some of their barding or their shields and stuff. The Wardens of Montfort unit of mounted yeoman archers also do use the black and white color scheme, but it's more like a quartered pattern rather than a checkered. Though not quite as much. But anyway, these guys look great is what I'm getting at. They are going to get their first charges through the enemy line. We are at 7.4k damage from that. And we're looking to try to knock out the enemy range units as best we can. I was actually hoping to kill off the enemy artillery, but these boar boys are pressing us. And even though this is a regiment of renown, this is still only a unit of knights errant, and they are quite fragile. So we will have to be careful about getting caught exactly like this and taking too much damage. In fact, we're going to emergency pop off that Visen's Wild Form to give them an additional 40 armor as we try to charge through and then back off. All the while, of course, our artillery is firing away at the enemy artillery in the hopes of bringing it down. Though, as we can see here, we've essentially purposely kept our expendables, i.e. our piles of peasant mobs, in range of the enemy artillery, but our units of Grail Pilgrims not in range, because we need them to be able to continue the fight. Anyway, our single unit of Knights Errant continues working. Obviously not nearly to the same degree as, well, our storied cav that we've been using in our main army. But working quite well nonetheless. 37 kills so far, not a crazy amount of kills, but the damage is there at 14k. Effectively before the battle has started. And again, impact damage will not guarantee the kills of the units, and I believe it is capped at some value. I don't remember what it is. It doesn't really matter. For practical purposes, it doesn't matter. Especially since I would imagine that it's also changed in SFO to adhere to the inflated HP values and stuff like that. But anyway, we've got the first of the enemy boar boy units charging in, and we do meet their charge with the Paladin together with the Expendables here. We don't expect the Expendables to do much damage at all, but they can pin the boar boys in place, and ooh, looks like our Grail Relic just got hit with a Gaze of Mork from the enemy Shaman, who we have left alive, and... Huh. Now, why'd you do that? Okay, that was weird. The enemy Shaman decided to pop off a Brain Burster, but only slightly clipping our units and hurting the enemy more. Anyway, while the Expendables were pinning the boar boys in place, the Reliquary Tenders tried to get around them to help pin them and then force them into combat, or into continued combat. Our Defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis, of course, are still riding around in the background, up to 18k now and 60 kills. And it looks like in the forest we've got a few duels going. Now, boar boys in the forest are going to have a bad time because they're debuffed, so we will keep charging them. But out here we have a basic unit of orc boys and Morgiana's merry men facing off against each other. And we are winning very slightly, but it is almost completely even. We're like 5% HP, 5% ahead of them in HP. Again, without considerable buffs, the battle pilgrims will... I mean, I'd say they wouldn't lose to the boar boys, but they would suffer such severe damage that it ain't so great, especially since they have Unbreakable. So instead of allowing them to fight to like the last 5% of their HP, we're instead going to back them off to try to preserve it, while we send in a few of the other units to help out as well. And plus, we want the enemy more to be blobbed up in the center, because it will allow us to keep popping off those flocks of doom. On the right side, our piles of miserables are still holding. Of course, with the Grail Relic supporting them. These are such funny units. I love them so much. Also, how embarrassing would it be to get killed by a Grail Relic? You know what I mean? Like, its only attack is the guy at the head trying to bonk your face with the horse's frickin' skeleton head. The skull, that's it, that's the one. Yes, I forgot the word for skull there. Korn is not with me today, since I finished off Scarbrand's campaign. But in a way, isn't Korn with all of us? What would Korn do? Anyway, we've got the battle as yet continuing in our favor. 5-minute brawl so far, pretty darn good. And speaking of brawl, our Paladin has actually been dueling the Blackwork Big Boss almost since the start of the fight. As soon as he intercepted those boar boys, he switched to fighting the enemy Blackwork Big Boss, and the two have been duking it out. Which is just magnificent. It does look like our Paladin should carry the day, but they are both dishing out severe damage to each other. On the bright side, though, it looks like the battle is turning further in our favor. The Defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis still have 57 units, all told, though they are down to about 60% of their HP. Up to 30k kills. Or 30k kills. 30k damage. And trying to charge uphill. There we go. The acceleration into the charge helps out a little bit, though they were a little bit slow there. And the idea here wasn't even to get these guys killed so much as get the morale shock to force them to rout as much as possible. Lovely. And it looks like that those units routed, or perhaps the fact that our Paladin had finally cut down that Blackwork Big Boss has in fact forced the chain rout, and with that, the battle is ours. And a very, very good one at that. And this is one of the nice things about, you know, having decided to use this army as it moves to deliver these units to the Fay Enchantress, rather than, you know, avoid the fights. Though, of course, it was dangerous, but worth it. Alrighty, one other thing I want to mention before we close out this particular fight. I've been trying to speculate or figure out what the issue with the Confederation with the Fay Enchantress was. I assumed that maybe it would be some dilemmas that would appear at some point based on the level of chivalry that we have, but it doesn't appear to be the case. It seems that, as somebody suggested in the comments of, I think, last episode, there was a mod conflict between one of the mods, and I went through my mod list to narrow down which one it was, and it seems to be actually Old World, or specifically the older version of Old World that was a couple months old, which was used with this one, as I had no expectation of the mods being updated on time with the patch. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, I can't actually imagine why Old World would interfere with technologies, but I literally disabled all other mods, and it was Old World that was causing the problem. And then I tried relaunching with all the mods functional, but in Immortal Empires, and the Confederation technologies were there. So that is it. I'll try to figure that out. It may not be possible to restore those techs, as you may need to start a new game, because the mod conflict may have just taken them out. When I have some time, I'll fiddle around with the different versions of the game and the mods and see. Not that I find it too big of a deal, because I think out of all the Bretonnian lords, the Fay Enchantress doesn't necessarily need to confederate everybody, and her defending Athel Lauren, whereas as opposed to collecting the Pokémen under her banner, kind of makes more sense to me. But I will nonetheless try to figure it out if we can restore those techs, because, well, mostly I want to play around with a few of those modded lords, especially Artois, because that guy looks fantastic, and a few of the others as well. But anyway, I digress. With that, this battle obviously comes to a close, and stay tuned on updates about the mod conflict between the old version of Old World and SFO. Oh, and I guess just for those starting out, I know some of you like to play the same campaigns with similar sorts of mod lists. If you're going to start out with a new one, just double check your text. There should be a set of Confederation texts right there. And if they're not, then adjust, basically. Alrighty, there we go. It certainly took some effort there. Remember, these are basic peasant mobs that don't have the Fay Enchantress's buff. Well, nobody here has the Fay Enchantress's buff, so it took some effort. A lengthy duel between the Paladin and the Black Orc Big Boss that saw the Paladin win, but certainly a toughie for him as he lost about half of his HP. Solid work out of Olivia the Braid, though, 27k damage thanks to her Flocks of Doom. And for the peasants, it looks like the silenced masses let their assortment of pitchforks and farming implements do the talking. And as for the battle pilgrims, it's the Tartan army by a country mile, as they doubled the damage of all the other units effectively. Very nice. Okay, well, I mean, I guess we don't really need to compare the two Grail relics, but maybe a little, slightly out-damaging them, the Never-Ending Night, and of course lots of work out of the defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis and the Holy Hand Grenade. Occupy the place. Lovely. And this way, at least, this army is doing work while traveling, which I got to appreciate. I do wonder if these guys do actually secretly have an army running around that was not caught by the Wood Elves and is sitting like an ambush somewhere that's going to punish us for all this, but, well, if it is, it is. That's just life. What do we have at Casa de Citizen? Oh, well, they actually have some defensive structures and stuff there. Good for them. Good for them indeed.
It shall come to pass.
You can reinforce still. Looking good. And reinforce. You two, I think, will be in range as well, if just barely so. Go here. And you go here.
Fortune favors you. Never. Devotee of the lady.
Stop getting in each other's way. Alright, well, hopefully they're still in range. Yes, they are. Okay, I can't quite tell if that one is. What I can tell, however, is that you reached rank 10, meaning immediately Peasant's Purpose and Arcane Wisdom. Alright, we got Vampire Count's Errantry, Tomb King's Errantry, and Vampire Coast. Gotta go with Counts again, since we're about to fight them. And we need to 5 battles against the Counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we're good. We are good. There's an extra one in case it falls to, for example, the dwarfs, which we're probably going to once again have to fight ourselves. 1 turn until the caravan is done. Huh. I don't recall you being level 10. Let's level you then. Local guides versus cargo capacity. Oh, no, you get wheelwright and smuggler space. I got to go with, let's see, cost of caravan shortcut event and chance of double move 10% versus maximum cargo capacity plus 40%, cargo charge and extortion events. I mean, frankly, we're probably going to want both of these regardless. Wait. We're going to have to save points because at rank 11 and 12, we'll take Wayfarer and then immediately into regular training, and the unit XP gain is going to be very valuable for this particular army, or for the caravan armies. They need all the help they can get. Yeah. Well, they're starting to look pretty good. At least unit number-wise. You are probably going to have to send back to Kislev once again. Anyway, let's see. What else do we have to do this particular turn before we attack? Malene Dutremere, you are waiting for recruits, and you are still going to be recruiting for a while yet, but we're now able to recruit more stuff. Now, we'll need more Knights Errant, because they will be trained up. We should also do this. Wait, you, Malene, will want to get the Royal Pegasus Knights. You will want to get the Blessed Field Trebs and the Men-at-Arms with Longbows, which puts you up to 17. 18, 19, 20. Huh. If we keep the Friar, we'll have no room for a Paladin. I actually might prefer a Paladin here, but we don't have an extra Paladin right now, so maybe we'll keep the Friar in there for now, and then once we get the Paladin capacity to lead the Royal Pegasus Knights, and I guess what we could do is we could reduce the number of Knights Errant by 1 as well. Basically, the idea behind this army is it's mostly a ranged army. I was actually tempted to put another damsel in with additional range for them. Like a standard ranged army with peasants' longbow and peasants' box, plus the artillery. And to protect them, a bunch of Pegasus Knights, plus the heroes all floating up above, not, sullying their selves with the presence of the peasants nearby, but coming on down to protect them on occasion. Also, you are able to immediately use Valor, so let's go for no contact effects. And then you guys will be upgraded over time as you level towards Pegasus Knights, regular Pegasus Knights. We'll be having 1 Royal Pegasus Knight unit lead them, and then 3 regular Pegasus Knights. Or 2, depending on how the sort of final form of this army looks like. I might also reduce the peasant bows with pox arrows down to 3 instead of... We'll see. We will see. I don't really want to lose the Friar just because it has the... it has increased mobility, and it just happens to be really useful. Anyway, let's do that, and you know what? Let's grab you, Retinue Valet. We've been having trouble getting enough items, and frankly, that's needed. You have replenished troops, so frankly, there has to be a damsel in every single army as well. No escaping that. And regrowth is going to be tremendously valuable in this army because while the Pegasus and Royal Pegasus Knights are good, they're also relatively low in HP at 12k. And as flying units, they do have a tendency to get bogged down and, killed, so they gotta be careful with that one. Anyway, Malene, you're ready. Do we need you to help in the mountains against these orcs or against these orcs? It really depends. You could go either way. You'd be able to reach these ones much, much faster, though. And while we don't necessarily need 3 armies out here, the faster we deal with this, the faster we can sort of send 1 army at least off here. Plus, we got more armies under construction. So let's send this army this way for now, and then we'll see afterwards. Alright, you're good to go, minus the Paladin, which we will get you. You are a Friar, and you will definitely want to be in this army. Like so. And then we have... Who do we have here, by the way? We have the Lady's Fervor Prophetess. And we have the favored by the lady Damsel of Life. Now, you already have a favored by the lady Damsel of Life, right?
My magic is yours.
We have the Prophetess of Beasts and favored by the lady Damsel of Life. Meaning we would probably want another a Damsel of the Heavens in this particular army, which would also make sense because we have some flying units and it would be nice to have Heavens, you know, aerial domination. But with Empathetic and Soother, I don't like either one. We'll have to pay attention to these guys. I also don't dislike Sanctified. Might be a good option for that particular army. It doesn't apply to basic Brigand units, so we'll need to make use of this. Yeah, I think I do like Sanctified for this army, for Franciscus. Apply Guardian to all of the foot squires. They have a decent amount of armor-piercing damage. Not as much as the Great Axes, mind you, but they also have considerably more HP and also considerably more armor. Yeah, let's go Sanctified for you.
Damsel.
Alrighty. And wait, it's basically a choice between the Barded Warhorse and the Unicorn. Unicorn is faster and has stalk. I like that. Let's go with the stalk. You don't need to be in the midst of combat, as I recall. You don't have any auras or anything like that. But we can always switch you to a Barded Warhorse if you want to travel with the, well, with the horse and all of that. Anyway, Fay Enchantress. I believe we're back to you. Sadly, without the Green Knight now, so you're technically at 19 out of 20. This, however, still warrants a fight. Oh, wow, we are out of time. Okay. Time flies when you're having fun. I didn't even notice it. Okay, we're out of time. I'm definitely going to have to call this particular episode here. We will start next episode with the attack on Casa de Citizen, and we'll continue attacking the vampire counts under Kemmler for a while. Hopefully, it won't make all of the Southern Realmers hate us. We've just started the war and they might not like it, but we'll see. I just want them to like us long enough to be able to trade or beam up for Viadatsa, and then I'll be reasonably happy. So, we'll see. Anyway, stay tuned for more Fay Enchantress. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below, especially to Threshold for the double episode. If you're into that sort of thing, all glory to the algorithm. And thanks for watching.